We welcome the mayor of Ashland, Steve Gilmore, into the studio with us. And good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Jim. Good to see you.
Good to see you. Lots of things happening in the city of Ashland. Just about everywhere you look, there's some work going on somewhere.
Yeah, I was just gazing out, thinking. Of course, we're working on a problem, a drainage problem in front of Lara's there on 15th and Winchester, which they've been very patient and understanding through the whole process. And of course, the engineering had trying to do exactly what we need to do in the least invasive way over there. So they're working every day on it, and I hope this might be a little week or two of downtime for them over there and Lara's. But they've been really good to work with, and I appreciate their patience and trying for us to make sure we do the right thing. And of course, we're getting close to the bridge work, which is out of our hands. It's a state project where we end up using one bridge for I think 3 months, which probably is conservative. I hope they're overestimating the length of time. While 29th is all moving well, there's still, if people see some street work up there around the manholes, it's because we're not accepting the job yet, because I just came over one right close to what's called Geiger Crossing. If you're an old timer like me, where the road splits. The manhole right there close to Kenny's service station that's kind of humped up, and that's what they're doing down 29th. They're just carving out around those to make sure drainage works right, and also the people have a little smoother drive. We are probably $600,000 into our paving program, and we'll be approving that tomorrow once I review the whole list of the streets that have been done. And if there are people out there and they've done your street, and we have people on the job, kind of overseeing, but sometimes something slips away. I know on Lexington Avenue towards the hospital, not far from turning onto the new paving and all that, it worked really well in there, except the driveway approaches on a couple homes have been there a long time. Water was pooling in there. It's more their problem than ours, but we're doing that work, so we're going to make that right so the water does drain appropriately. And there are all kinds of little things. You just don't go in there and pave, and everything just works right.
Yeah, no, it never happens.
And I'm a stickler for paving and all, and I remember years ago I was a city commissioner, and we were paving, and I come up 29th Street after a commission meeting, and it was like a roller coaster. I couldn't believe it. It looked beautiful. The paving looked beautiful. And lo and behold, Jim, the same thing happened this time, a little farther up, but close to the roofing company there and all. But again, and I told the city manager about the next morning after I went home that way, and he was astonished. But he went up there, of course, and he's on it. I mean, if you tell him about something, he's on it. And he called me before he even got back to city building and said, "Mayor, you're right. I don't know. You can't see it." And I'd been coming down on the right lane from home, and it's not so bad there, but going back home up on the right side, it's pretty bad. And we just say, we're not going to pay for that. We're not going to accept it until it's right. And they know it. I mean, Mountain Enterprises is probably the best of the best to do all the state highway contracts and all that. But, sometimes, you talked about quality control in some of our stores, businesses, restaurants even.
Yes.
Say, man, I had that before, and it wasn't good tonight. Well, cooks change, and so do asphalt pavers,
Yes, that's right.
And I'm giving the benefit there, but nothing is simple.
Right.
It truly isn't. And when you lay it down, or you do something in a neighborhood, you fix a water pipe here, it may cause a problem down the street for someone else. So we're getting ready to embark on our some kind of scheduled, orderly water line replacement, which is going to take us many years, but we obviously have target areas that we have the worst problems, and then we will be going into a monumental sewer treatment plant overhaul, and in fact a lot of upgrades at the water plant. So, and those are quality of life, safety issues, all those sorts of things. But we're a regional supplier, and with the advent of the Brady industry and other companies are going to go out there at East Park. I've been riding along with the engineer and city manager, going to different pump stations we have that head that way, and we're going to put a couple tanks out there. But it's going to mean a great volume increase, which we can handle right now, but to ensure that we're going to upgrade the volume we have at our water plant. But it's going to mean a lot of revenues for the city that we don't have at this point, and that's a good thing. You know, to make a corollary, you know, we're always looking at ways to hold our rates down for our residents whenever we're having to put things out, whether it's sewer or water infrastructure. We lose, you know, we get some strikes on sometimes out of our hands. You know, the Coke plant, when that closed down in 2010, we lost $1 million a year in water and sewer. $1 million.
That's a lot of money.
Gone. And
Yeah.
a city our size, it's a big buck. So I, you know, appreciate the people in office then, and what we're trying to do now to make things right without. But that's a heck of a loss in 1 year's time, never to be recovered unless something happens to that property at some point. But we're playing a balancing act all the time with our revenues to make sure we're providing efficiency and we're prudent with tax monies and getting the very best for our citizens. And I'm telling you, the commissioners I'm working with, they all have the same goal as I have, and they work hard on it every day to do the best we can with what we have.
Brady, let's talk about Brady. Are they planning on actually breaking ground, not just the groundbreaking ceremony, but actually doing it September or October? I've heard both.
Well, my latest, I had gotten the September, you know, from the administration over here with Brady, and I think it's into October now. And I think simply it's probably ready to go, but they're making, you know, with the engineering that has to be done, and for a $1 billion, $2 billion plant that's going to be so heavy, so much heavy equipment in there, they're going to drill. I have it wrong, I'm sure, but about 50 big columns down into the ground to ensure that plant's anchored in there to do all the finite aluminum processing that they intend to do. So it's a big deal for them to get started. And but in talking with some of them, it looks like into October. The hotel is still on schedule, as far as we can know, in September. And I told Andy and Jimmy the other day, the two developers there, that I've been getting numerous calls from class reunions from Blazer High School mainly that are all in the fall. They always do that, and they're all wanting to stay in the new hotel. And I just kind of plant that seed for them. I mean, they want it open quicker than I want it open.
Well, sure.
But, you know, I think they're still on schedule, and I'm getting a lot of Chris Pullum, my economic development director, is forwards photos for me a lot. Photos yesterday, the lobby area, that is really going to be astonishing. It's for small town America. It's going to have a heck of a big town feel when you walk in there, and that's going to be good for travelers coming in all over this region. Are going to want to stay in that hotel. And then, you know, we're you know, tourism and my economic development office is getting calls about conventions of different sizes. And I think we mentioned this before, we have, you know, that hotel is going to be so inviting for conventions right in the downtown with the Paramount there and things going on. But we have so many spaces. They're going to have a huge room for large group, break it into small groups. But you know, I was always telling people, you know, we're looking for those conventions, 500, you know, maybe 500 to 700, but certainly 500 or less. But we're going to exceed that because, you know, the museum completed a whole floor for me. The museum has developed a whole floor, and it's beautiful for I think you can seat 500 people for a dinner, you know, for a group meeting, or they can have breakout rooms all over the place. You can walk up there from the hotel. The old post office is a beautiful place for not only meetings, but also for banquets there. Greenup Avenue, I'm trying to think of a good friend of mine that he's always had great space there for small conferences, and they can have it catered and everything. I can't, I'm just missing it right now, but we are going to be, I really believe, a real hotbed of mid to upper level.
Yeah, so many nice places
Conventions.
that you could do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I'll drop this one on you, that we have another hotel chain is looking hard. Right, they want downtown. They want close to that hotel. Now, I know it sounds crazy, but I worked for John Clark Oil for 3.5 years. When I retired in the school system, and one of the things that I picked up on was because I would ask, Clark Oil is very aggressive. They put stations well over 100. And I had to go to all of them all the time. But they would start a new station right. They find out a station went in this corner, then they go where it was, West Snow High, Winchester, Kentucky, and they put one across the street. And that's the business of it. You're competing with that person, you're going to be right across the street. And hotels are very similar. Ireton's getting a new hotel. It's going to go in across the street, basically, from the Holiday Inn. But this one is looking downtown, and oddly enough, a couple of properties are going to come open, and we've already been trying to line the property owner up with the hotels that are interested.
Yeah.
So, you're talking about 50, 60, 70 jobs, plus the convenience and nicety of having, if that one's overflowing, or if you want to stay in a little smaller setting that we couldn't do before. People come into Ashland traveling, business, whatever, they've got to stay all around us.
Mm-hmm.
And the majority of the motels are out in the county, towards Greenup County, and the most recent ones, the newer ones. And this is going to give us a great advantage in downtown Ashland.
Absolutely. We're going to take a short break. We'll come back, wrap things up with the mayor. Stay with us.
King's Daughters introduces Care 24/7, a new free service that lets you connect with us anytime. With Care 24/7, you can get advice from a nurse about a current health problem, schedule a primary care visit, or request prescription refills. For Care 24/7, just call 606-408-8999, toll free at 844-324-2200, or learn more at kdmc.com. Care 24/7 from King's Daughters.
McMeans Pharmacy has 2 locations to serve you. Stop by 29th Street and Carter Avenue in Ashland or in their South Point location. Call McMeans Pharmacy in Ashland at 325-8400. In South Point, call 740-377-2677. For all your pharmacy needs, McMeans Pharmacy is the place for you. McMeans Pharmacy in Ashland and South Point. In Ashland, call 325-8400. In South Point, call 377-2677.
We're back with the mayor of Ashland, Steve Gilmore, as we wrap things up on this Wednesday morning. Mayor, anything else going on you want to talk about?
Well, we have the 12th Street. Not only the bridge is going to be closed by the state, but we're already redoing our streetscape on 12th to 13th, and I'm sure people noticed that we got a trench in front of Starbucks and Burger King, for the new lighting and the walks. It's the entry to Ashland. I know people are thinking, well, not a whole lot of people walk down in there. Well, they might. They might if there's another business. I think Domino's Pizza is going in a lot right across from Bob Evans. And so there's going to be a lot of foot traffic and car traffic and all that going in all these places. But it's where you come into Ashland, and we want to beautify it as much as we can. And so that's been on the books for 3 or 4 years. In fact, we started working on it when I was the mayor before, and when I went out of office in 2008. So it's been designed and worked on, and I'm not telling you that we didn't try to move quicker ourselves, but the state has it's just, they have things going on over the state, so it takes longer. But that's going to, and then we're going to head up Winchester Avenue, the areas that, for instance, we're going to do some different things here with these boxes, plantings and all, and we're going on up to 18th Street. To tie it all together. We're probably going to get rid of the trees that have already overlived their time, their beauty. And we've got a landscape architect working on that. But, it takes dollars. We put some aside to do this and this. And, of course, our biggest project down here is going to be right on the corner, the new park area we're going to put in. And we only had one bidder. We kind of fished a little bit with this one. We weren't sure, this time of the year and all. But we only had one bidder, and it exceeded what we've had budgeted. So we'll be looking at that closely and probably rebid, say, in December, and hopefully start early spring on that. We don't want to screw up the Christmas holiday season down here by having that all torn up. and then we want to try to beat Pogue Landing for sure, to have it complete. So we have some time frames in mind. That's going to be a heck of a development for downtown Ashland, and a couple I can't get into now, but I will. I certainly will
I know,
at some point.
and we can't wait.
I hope.
All right. Thanks for coming in.
Thanks, Jim.
All right. Mayor Steve Gilmore, he's our guest the second and fourth Wednesdays of each month here on The Breakfast Club.
It's 105.7